So I've got Joe Norris from Get Your Tips Out. And today's video is about the question of, does Shishkin have a chance in the Cheltenham Gold Cup on the Friday?
Well, if he jumps off, he's got a chance. That's the thing with Shishkin. That's probably still factored in the price, even though he's been fine since that day he didn't start. I still think that is factored in the price a little bit because we know he's sort of got his own mind of a way to do things. But I do see him as a stayer, and I do think he's going to run a good race in this. I can't get away from Galloping de Champs. That will be my selection in the race. And from an each way perspective, I'm still really liking Jerry Colomb. It's around 11-1. I think that's going to be my each way sort of saver. But I wouldn't put you off Shishkin. I think I can see him running a good race. I mean, it was last year in the Ryanair. He did so much wrong in that race, and he still ran on, and he was strongest at the finish, beaten just over a couple of lengths. I mean, he's not done a lot wrong since then. Obviously, he looked set to win the King George before that weird stumble after the fence, and then he got back on track. Obviously at Newbury, where he was probably a bit more workmanlike than you would like to see, but again, he just ground it out. So I've got no issues with his stamina over the trip. I think he'll be running on really well. But I suppose the reservations I probably would have is his jumping at times. I just think sometimes he takes his mind off the job and he can sort of walk through one. And obviously the Gold Cup is all about rhythm. And that's probably why I like Jerry Colomb, because I still think he's quite unexposed still. And I do think this trip can bring out the best in him. So I think he's the each way play against the favourite. But yeah, I wouldn't put you off Shishkin.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. It's all about getting himself into a rhythm. And I feel like against Galloping the Champs, against Jerry Colomb, and against Fast or Slow, even if he gets himself into a good rhythm, and I'm a massive fan of Shishkin, I love him to pieces. I don't think he comes top three. So when you're looking at a 7-1 chance, I'm like, I think there's three of them there that if they run their race and Shishkin runs his race, know where he's at. But then there's too many question marks. Is one, I think he'll probably hit one, and two, is he going to go off in the race as well? I think he will go off in the race.
Yeah.
But I just think when the speed starts to kind of quicken up, I think he'll end up hitting one, and then I actually think he'll pull up, if I'm being honest.
Oh, really? Yeah. I mean, I've sat on the fence a bit with it, haven't I? I've sort of given you the positives and the negatives for him. But I'm exactly like you. I'd love to see him win it, but I am against him as well. I'm against him. I mean, I think the favourite is, on his days, is virtually untouchable. It just depends on what form he's in. If he's in the form from Dublin, he should win. And then I like Jerry Colomb each way. So I've got to get off the fence, and I agree with you. Yeah, I'm against Shishkin.